So, have you ever really thrown yourself into a new goal? Like, absolutely convinced this time it would stick,
Oh, definitely.
only to, brain out faster than a trick candle and find yourself right back where you started.
Yeah, that feeling is familiar to so many of us.
Or maybe you feel like you're doing all the right things, you're putting in the effort, but I don't know, nothing substantial ever seems to change.
Right. It's like you're spinning your wheels.
What if the real reason, the actual reason we get stuck, isn't really a lack of drive or desire?
But if it's something else?
Yeah, what if it's a fundamental misunderstanding of how deep, lasting transformation actually happens? What if it's not about that intense, dramatic sprint,
Mm-hmm.
but something far quieter, yet, well, infinitely more powerful?
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. We all crave significant positive shifts in our lives, right?
Absolutely. Bigger income, better health, new skills.
Exactly. But here's the kicker, maybe. We often wildly overestimate what we can accomplish in, say, a single day.
Oh, for sure. Grand plans for Monday morning. And then, ironically, we completely underestimate the monumental progress that's possible over a sustained period.
You're absolutely right. It's almost like we're programmed to chase that instant gratification, that quick fix, aren't we?
Yeah, the big flashy result.
And while that initial burst of energy, that intensity, it feels exciting,
It does.
it rarely, if ever, actually lasts. The truth, and this is what we'll really dig into in this deep dive, is that real profound change doesn't just happen in a sudden slash of brilliance or some dramatic overhaul.
Okay.
It's forged in the quiet, consistent moments.
Hmm.
When you simply choose to keep showing up.
So today we're taking a deep dive into some really powerful insights from two compelling sources. One lays out a strategic plan for a 6-month transformation,
Interesting time frame.
and the other gives us a profound exploration of why consistency beats intensity. Our mission here is to kind of extract those foundational principles that truly drive lasting change.
So you can build the life you want.
Exactly. Not with grand, exhausting gestures, but one deliberate, consistent step at a time. And this is where we might uncover some surprisingly powerful truths. Okay, so digging in. Our sources immediately highlight a pattern many of us probably recognize. We pour everything we have into a new goal.
All that initial enthusiasm.
For a few days, maybe a few weeks, only to just hit a wall and burn out.
Yep. Crash and burn.
And it's almost comical, isn't it, how much time people spend meticulously planning, say, a 2-week vacation, hours researching hotels, flights.
Oh, yeah, the itinerary is down to the minute.
Right, but then barely 30 minutes sketching out the next 6 months of their actual life. Why do you think we fall into that trap?
Well, it's a fascinating psychological trap, really.
Yeah.
We seem to be wired to crave the immediate dopamine hit of massive action.
That feeling of doing something big.
Exactly. Right now, it's incredibly seductive. But that high, it inevitably crashes under the weight of, well, real life.
Responsibilities,
Yeah.
setbacks.
All of it. As one source puts it pretty bluntly, you can sprint for a moment, but you simply cannot sprint forever.
Right.
So we keep looking for that one big, heroic move that changes everything.
A magic bullet.
Instead of embracing the, let's be honest, less glamorous truth that genuine transformation is built through 1,000 tiny, often invisible choices.
Okay, so if intensity is a trap, if it leads to burnout and frustration, what's the alternative our sources are proposing? One introduces this intriguing concept of a 6-month transformation. Why specifically 6 months? That feels like an interesting sweet spot.
It really is, and the argument from the source is compelling. A year, it says, often feels too distant.
Yeah, easy to put things off.
Exactly. Procrastination sets in. But a single month, often too short to see truly meaningful, visible change, you might just be getting started. But 6 months, or, roughly 180 days, that seems to be the perfect middle ground. It's long enough to see absolutely massive results if you're consistent.
Okay, real tangible results.
Yet it's short enough to keep that sense of excitement and urgency alive without tipping into overwhelm. It creates a kind of realistic urgency, you might say.
I like that term.
Enough runway for substantial shifts, but not so much that you can just keep saying, I'll start tomorrow.
That makes so much sense. It's like a marathon, yeah. But one where you can actually see the finish line getting closer, which is like crucial for keeping going.
Absolutely.
Which brings us right to the core argument of our other source. Consistency beats intensity.
Sure.
Every single time. So for someone trying to transform their life, what does that actually look like day to day?
Consistency, fundamentally, it's a lifestyle. Intensity. That's merely a fleeting moment.
Okay.
Intensity can definitely propel you forward incredibly fast for short bursts.
That initial sprint?
But consistency is what prevents you from slipping backward, from losing that hard-earned ground. It builds something far more powerful and resilient than just hyper fleeting motivation. It builds habits.
Right, habit.
And habits, over time, aren't just things you do. They gradually become who you are. The profound truth here, I think, is that real transformation doesn't happen in a single dramatic revelation.
No big epiphany moment necessarily?
Not usually, no.
Yeah.
It unfolds in the quiet, persistent moments where you choose to keep going, even when nobody's watching, even when you really don't feel like it.
So what you're saying is you don't need to do everything perfectly or even do huge earth-shattering things every single day. That sounds like a huge relief for many of us.
Precisely. You just need to do something every single day. Show up for yourself again and again. Even if it's small, maybe especially if it's small.
Why especially if it's small?
Because it's the small, seemingly insignificant things that stack up. They build the fundamental structure, the foundation for your entire transformation. That consistent repetition, it carves a deeper path, not just in your actions, but directly into your identity.
Yeah.
And that deep-seated belief in yourself, built brick by tiny brick, that becomes the fuel for everything else.
I think that raises such an important question. We've all been there, haven't we? Pushing hard, feeling like we're doing everything right, yet seeing no real movement.
And the plateau, it's frustrating.
And our sources suggest that this often isn't really a lack of effort, but maybe a fundamental miscalculation of where to put that effort, shifting it from the occasional grand gesture
The intense sprints.
to the relentless, almost invisible daily discipline. Okay, so we've kind of laid the groundwork here for why intensity often fails us and why consistency seems to be the engine for something like a 6-month transformation. But how do we actually apply this? Our sources aren't just theoretical, are they? They offer a blueprint.
No, they're very practical. And one of the first and maybe most critical keys is clarity.
Clarity, okay.
You absolutely must be crystal clear about what you actually want.
Oh,
Fuzzy goals, our sources remind us, they just produce fuzzy results.
makes sense.
Whereas sharp, precise goals tend to yield sharp, undeniable results. So for example, instead of a vague, I want to be happy.
Which means so many different things.
Exactly. A sharp goal for your 6-month window might be something like, I will increase my income by 40%, read these 12 specific books on marketing, lose 20 pounds through this specific exercise routine, and launch my side business generating X amount.
Wow, that's specific.
It has to be. Most people, interestingly, are incredibly articulate about what they don't want,
Oh, yeah. Very clear on the complaints.
but really struggle to define with that same precision what they actually do want to build or achieve.
That clarity point is so critical. I've definitely seen people get stuck, not because they lack effort, but just because their target is blurry. Does the source offer any specific techniques for getting that laser-like clarity, especially when you feel overwhelmed by all the possibilities?
Yeah, it emphasizes starting with the end in mind, really visualizing it, and then working backward.
Reverse engineering it.
Kind of, yeah. It's about not just thinking vaguely about what you want, but actually writing it down with as much detail as possible, almost like you're plotting coordinates.
Like setting a GPS, you said earlier. You need a precise destination.
Exactly. Otherwise, you're just driving around hoping you'll stumble upon it.
Yeah.
Another crucial principle that really echoes across both sources is the miracle of incrementalism.
Incrementalism. Okay, tell me more.
The idea is, if you commit to improving just 1%, just one tiny percent, every single day but you'll actually be astonishingly better. The math works out to around 180% better than when you started.
Wow, 180%.
It's the profound power of compound improvement. It's not just for money in the bank. It works with skills, health, knowledge, habits. Success, they reveal, isn't built on one momentous decision,
The big breakthrough moment.
but on 1,000 tiny correct choices made day after day, week after week. It's actually incredible how that boring repetition, the stuff no one sees, creates the most significant breakthroughs down the line.
I see your point, and the math, well, it's compelling. But here's where I might challenge just slightly. Doesn't it still require some initial burst of motivation, a really strong why, to even start those small, consistent actions in the first place? How do our sources address that sort of chicken and egg situation?
That's a fantastic question, and it's very real, isn't it? Motivation definitely gets you started, gets the spark.
Yeah, the initial excitement?
But as one source wisely puts it, Habit is what keeps you going long after that spark inevitably fades.
Okay, so don't rely on the spark.
Exactly. The key is not to depend on that initial emotional high. Consistency actually teaches your mind that the action is non-negotiable, regardless of your mood, regardless of how you feel on any given day.
It just has to happen.
It breaks that pattern of hesitation, of waiting until you feel like it, and replaces it with decisiveness. And this isn't just like a mindset trick. Your brain is literally changing through neuroplasticity.
Right, the wiring.
Each small, consistent action strengthens the neural pathways associated with that behavior, making it more automatic, less effortful over time. Your brain actually craves that repetition because it brings certainty. It keeps wiring those circuits until what felt difficult or forced becomes just part of your identity, part of who you are.
So what you're saying is the transformation isn't just about the actions themselves, like ticking boxes.
No, not just that.
But it's about the identity we forge through those consistent actions.
Huh.
How do our sources connect that deeper psychological shift to maybe the power of routine?
Precisely. This really highlights what they call the power of rituals and also the discipline of documentation.
Rituals and documentation, okay.
Your life isn't just a series of random events.
Yeah.
It is profoundly shaped by your daily rituals, the things you do automatically. So establishing supportive rituals, like example given is simply waking up an hour earlier every single day.
Which sounds hard initially.
It can be. But doing that consistently can create an astonishing 180 extra hours over just 6 months. That's almost 7.5 days of waking time.
Wow, that's a lot of time when you frame it like that.
It adds up. And then there's becoming a serious student of your own life, the documentation part. Keeping a journal, tracking your progress, writing down your insights and roadblocks.
Paying attention.
Yes. It helps you vividly see how even the slightest adjustment, when applied consistently, can dramatically change your trajectory over time.
Okay, that makes sense for internal factors. What about the people around us? Does our environment, specifically like the company we keep, play a significant role in either supporting or maybe undermining this consistent progress?
Oh, it plays a monumental role.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge. One source really emphasizes the power of association.
Association.
And the idea is you are, to a large extent, the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about that.
That's a sobering thought sometimes.
It can be. So over the next 6 months, the advice is you must consciously, deliberately choose who you spend your time with.
Be intentional about it.
Very intentional. Increase your exposure to those who truly inspire you, who elevate your thinking, who are maybe already living the kind of life you aspire to. And just as important,
Yes.
decrease your exposure to those who drain your energy, who are negative, or who constantly pull you back into old, unhelpful habits.
Yeah.
Your environment, both the external people and your internal self-talk. It either inspires you to rise or it expires your potential. It's that critical.
So putting this all together, what does this mean for someone listening right now who wants to make real lasting change? It sounds like it's less about finding the perfect, magic bullet plan.
Definitely not about a magic bullet.
And much more about committing wholeheartedly to a consistent, even if it sounds a bit mundane sometimes, process.
It's really about recognizing that consistency is the unbreakable bridge between your desire and your reality.
The bridge. I like that.
It's not about waiting to feel ready or how motivated you happen to feel on any given morning. It's about who you decide to become.
The decision.
And then acting in alignment with that decision day in and day out. When you commit to consistent action, you essentially reclaim your power. You stop waiting for success to somehow find you.
Waiting for lightning to strike.
Right. And you realize that success doesn't belong to those who passively wait. It belongs to those who actively build day by day, thought by thought, action by action.
Okay, so let's summarize our deep dive into these powerful sources. Here are the key insights you can maybe take away today, straight from the research.
Let's do it.
First, really consider embracing that 6-month time frame. It seems to be specifically long enough for truly substantial results, but also short enough to maintain focus, excitement, and that vital sense of realistic urgency. Think of it as your potential sweet spot for transformation.
Good starting point.
Second, truly internalize this idea that consistency beats intensity. True, lasting transformation isn't usually about one dramatic moment or a sudden burst of genius. It's about the relentless daily commitment to small, often ordinary actions.
Showing up.
Showing up even when progress feels invisible or that initial excitement has completely vanished.
Especially then.
And third, focus on cultivating an identity of action. Every single time you choose discipline over distraction, every small step you take, think of it as casting a vote for the person you are actively becoming.
I like that framing, casting a vote.
Yeah, this consistent, deliberate effort literally rewires your brain, as you said, strengthening those neural pathways, and it builds that unshakable self-trust over time.
Absolutely. And maybe here are a couple of really practical steps you could start implementing, maybe even tonight, to make this real for you.
All right, practical takeaways.
First, get crystal clear and document. Maybe before you go to bed tonight, just grab a piece of paper or open a note on your phone and write down exactly what you want your life to look like 6 months from now. Be specific, make it measurable, be a little bold.
Write it down.
Yes. Then start a simple daily journal. Doesn't have to be fancy. Just track your progress, even the tiny wins, and document any insights you have. Seeing those small daily actions add up on paper is incredibly powerful motivation.
Okay, clarity and documentation. What's the second one?
Second, embrace the boring daily repetition instead of waiting for some big breakthrough or that jolt of motivation that might never come.
Don't wait.
Don't wait.
Yeah.
Commit to just one small, consistent action every single day, especially if it feels ordinary or mundane. Whether it's reading 10 pages of a relevant book, saving just 1% of your income each day or week, or doing a simple 15-minute walk.
Small things.
Tiny things. Trust that these tiny, almost invisible choices, when compounded over time, will build the unshakable foundation for truly extraordinary results down the road.
So thinking about that, what's one small, consistent action you could commit to starting today that would serve your future self 6 months from now? We genuinely love to hear your thoughts on this deep dive and, what resonated most with you. Connect with us on social media, share your insights.
And just remember, life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by change. And maybe the greatest force you will ever master in your own life isn't what you do once in a while when you feel inspired, but what you commit to doing every single day without fail.
Your future isn't defined by what you do occasionally. It's defined by who you become through what you do consistently. So what single choice will you make today that your future self will undoubtedly thank you for?